Today I'm going to be showing you all how to best build Charlotte in solo leveling a Rise, as she's an insane damage dealer. And when you run her with Harper and Libora, she becomes even better. But also to make her way better, you've got to equip her with the correct artifact sets, which is why the Burning Curse artifact set on this 8 set effect bonus is going to be really useful. As in total, you can get a 30% damage increase and then another 20% damage increase once 100 seconds has passed within the stage that you're playing, which in total will give you a 50% damage increase, but unfortunately you do take an extra 20% damage, which overall does make this set a bit of a double-edged sword. However, it's definitely worth it. And another set that could be worth it would be the Solid Foundations set, as in Charlotte's kit she's all about using basic attacks, which means using the Solid Foundations 2 set effect bonus of increasing your own basic attack damage by 18% will be pretty useful. However, the 4 set won't be useful at all, so I would only recommend you use the 2 set effects. But if you do opt to go for Solid Foundation, then you can use one hit kill, which can then increase your ultimate skill damage by 25% on its 2 set effects. And then also, just like Solid Foundation as well, the one hit kill 4 set effect bonus is pretty useless, as it does decrease your ultimate skill cooldown by 40%. And the reason why this is useless is because Charlotte's ultimate skill Take This doesn't actually have a cooldown, which will then finally leave the Toughness set, as well as also the Warmonger set as the other 2 DPS sets that you could use, as the Warmonger set can increase your attack and defense by 4% on its 2 set effects, and then on its 4 set effects bonus, whenever any of your attacks hit your target, you can then increase your attack and defense by a further 3% as well for 6 seconds, and this can stack up to 3 times, which in total will give you a 28% defense increase. And then when it comes to the Toughness set, it's pretty good because you can increase your crit rate by 8% and then your crit damage by 32% as well, so overall you'll get a pretty good damage increase out of that. And then for all of Charlotte's accessories, if you're going to be running the 8 set effect of Burning Curse, you'll need all of its accessories, or you could run something like Outstanding Ability, as you can get a 25% damage increase whenever your mana points are at 40% or more of your maximum mana points. And then also all of these sets can also be ran with Charlotte as well if you would like to, which then brings me on to all of Charlotte's best stats for her artifacts and also accessories. And let's start off with all of her main stats. And for her helmets, for the main stat of that, you'll want to go for defense percent, as again she's a defense scaler. However, additional defense could also work, and then the same will also apply to your body armor, as you'll want to go for defense percent or additional defense, as you can now actually get defense percent on your body armors. And then for the gloves, it doesn't really matter at all whether you go for attack or attack percent, doesn't really matter, as she is a defense scaler. And then for the boots, finally, you'll either want to go for critical hit damage, which in my opinion will be your best option, or you could go for defense percent again. And then for your accessories, on your necklace, additional HP or HP percent are the only options you can go for, but it doesn't really matter which one you go for, either or is fine. For the bracelet, you'll want to go for dark damage percent, as she is of the dark attribute, and also in her kit she does buff dark damage. And then just also like a lot of other pieces, the ring, you'll want to go for additional defense or defense percent, with overall defense percent will probably give you the better increase. And then of course the earrings will always give you additional mana points. And then finally for her substats, you're going to want these 5 substats right here, which are going to be defense percent, additional defense, critical hit rate, critical hit damage, and also damage increase. And the main reason you're going to want a lot of damage increase on your Charlotte is not only just because of the damage increase it will give you, but it's also because of the synergy that it does have with her passive, as at the very end of her passive it says the user's critical hit damage stat increases equal to 10% of the increased damage stat, which means so when you get your damage increase stats up as high as possible, not only are you just increasing your damage, but you're also then further increasing your critical hit damage as well. And then also, if you really want to take Charlotte to the very next level, then equipping her with her best weapons is going to be a must, as by far her best weapon is called Prankster, which is her own exclusive weapon, and this can increase your own defense stat by 2%, and then when at max dupes you can increase it all the way to 12%. But the main part of this weapon is that it does then increase the critical hit rate and also the critical hit damage of Take This, Harper We Are One, and also Harper Help by 4%. But then another free-to-play option would be the Sturdy Shark Water Gun, as this is another defense scaling weapon, and what this can do is it can basically increase your QTE skill damage by 2.5%, as well as also your basic skill damage by 2.5%, and then when at max dupes all of these values can be increased all the way up to 10%, which overall will be really good, as basically when you use Charlotte's ultimate you can increase your second basic skills damage by 50% as well, so that'll be great. Which then finally leaves the only other option you have, which is the Steel Axe, as this can increase your core attack damage by 9%, which when at max dupes can be increased to 24%. But then of course another fantastic way for you to increase your Charlotte's damage is going to be leveling up her correct skills. And for me personally, her second basic skill, which is called Harper Help, is going to be your best skill to level up, as this has a massive damage multiplier of 2,770% of her defense as damage, which can be increased all the way to 4,155% of her defense as damage. And of course, like I mentioned before, when you use your ultimate with Charlotte, you can then increase that second basic skills damage by 50% as well, which will make it do even more, which will then also make Charlotte's ultimate the second best skill for you to level up, as this also has a huge damage multiplier of 3,803% of her defense's damage, which can be increased to 5,704.5% of her defense's damage. And then also with Charlotte, her ultimate can become a lot better with her advancements, as her A1 allows you to get your ultimate every 20 seconds, and then your A3 can also transform your ultimate and make it do 70% more damage as well, which would be fantastic, as well as also her A5 being able to increase your ultimate damage by 8%, which is a permanent buff and can be stacked up to 15 times. And then following up her ultimate, her basic attacks will be her third best skill for you to level up in my opinion, as it's a very important part of her kit, but you can also do a good amount of damage with it because you'll be using them quite a lot, as you can increase all of the stage damage ratios by quite a huge amount, so it's probably worth leveling them up. Which will then finally leave her first basic skill as the last thing you'll probably want to level up, as her support skill, her QTE skill, and her core attacks or whatever. You don't need to worry about them too much, however those three will also still be worth leveling up. But her first basic skill, you can increase its damage by 1,265% of her defense, all the way to just shy of 1,900% of her defense's damage. But the unfortunate part about this is when you do level up this skill, you don't increase the Doll Explosion damage, which is unfortunate, which is why for me overall it will probably be her fourth best skill for you to level up. Which then finally, to end off today's video, we have all of Charlotte's best synergies and also her best team in general. And by far the two best characters to run with Charlotte are going to be Harper as well as also Libora, as the main reason why Harper works really well with Charlotte is because of her second basic skill, the Tenderizer, which basically what it does is it'll increase the ultimate skill damage that your enemies will take by Dark Hunters by a total of 1%, which can be stacked up to 12 times and lasts for 20 seconds, which will be great as you can then heavily increase the amount of damage your Charlotte can deal. And then of course for Libora, her main qualities are the fact that she has her Strengthening Charm, which will help increase your whole team's Dark Elemental damage, but it is also because of the Charm debuff that she does apply, which will increase the amount of damage that your targets take by 15%, and then also because of the fact that she does have a good amount of off-field damage thanks to her Phantom Foxes. But if you do have Charlotte but you don't have someone like Harper or Libora to help her out, then you can also use someone like Lim Tae-gyu, or you could go for someone like Hwang Dong-suk, as not only does Lim Tae-gyu have a lot of break damage, but Hwang Dong-suk also does as well, so using either of these two characters will be great replacements for Harper if you do need a bit of break damage. But then also when it comes to all of her best shadows you want to use, I think 100% her best authority leader is going to be Igris, as Igris's party-wide critical hit rate increase is just way too valuable, which will then of course leave Iron as well as also Serbi as your best other supportive shadows, as Serbi's combustion will apply an amazing damage increase, which works very well with Iron's defense decrease that he does apply to your enemies as well, which overall in my opinion makes this the best team for Charlotte, as well as also the best set of shadows you can run with her. So there you have it, that is a complete build guide onto Charlotte and with all of her best teams, her best setups, etc. And overall, if you did enjoy this video, then don't forget to like and subscribe and click the link down below to support me as a creator, as it will help me out a ton. But most importantly, I will see you all in the next video. Peace!